sure, generic interview.
Whenever you're ready, just let the name out.
Okay, great. A24 generic. All right. So for both of you, were you familiar with the other films when you received the script? And what about Ty and the world of X and Pearl made you want to get involved?
I had seen both of those, X and Pearl, and reached out to Ty just to have a conversation with him, not knowing anything about the trilogy. And he said, well, I'm going to do this other movie, Maxine, and maybe there's a part for you. So he sent it to me, and then we started talking about it.
I hadn't seen them. A lot of people I love and respect had told me to see them. As in, yes, I respect them as people, but I deeply respect their cinema taste. And they kept saying, you have to see Mia Goth do these X and Pearl movies, they're amazing. But I do avoid horror. And you know what? I feel that is changing now after making this film. And also, yeah, maybe I'm getting a little braver, but I think there's a wealth of incredible performances I've not been brave enough to watch. So I hadn't seen them. The script came into my inbox. I was just I was like still making The Crown. And so this thing came into my inbox that was so different from what I was doing as an actor at the time. And it was sort of like medicine to me because the script was so funny and fast and entertaining and really well written. And I'm a writing, I'm like a massive writing nerd. So I just thought this is so well written. I watched the other two films. I thought they were... I did watch them in the daytime. Have I told you? I ruined it. I watched them in the daytime.
Okay.
But I was like, I can do it. But what I found there was completely subverted what I thought was going to be there, because they're performance pieces, first and foremost, and everybody's amazing them. And then I met Ty, and he's just a really lovely, smart person. So that was the little combination that cooked up together. And then when I came to make this movie, I had the best time. So it was just delightful experience all around.
That's great. So how did you prepare to step into each of your roles? Did Ty share any sort of cinematic inspirations during pre-production? Were there certain performances that you referenced as you built out your character? Elizabeth, for you in particular, were there certain directors you worked with or read about that you drew inspiration from?
I did some research into women who were directing films in the 80s. I knew that Time must have based her loosely on somebody. And that was really eye-opening to me because I didn't realize I'm very not very 80s cinema illiterate, but I'm not particularly wise on it. So I learned a lot about these people. I mean, they made amazing films that still stand up, and but it was very difficult, obviously, to be a woman in the 80s directing films. It's difficult still for women to be given the money they need to make the films they want to make. So I can't imagine the glass ceiling they were pushing up against. So I felt important to me that she felt authentically sort of paying homage to those women. And there's no direct... I don't know a Liz Bender, although I kind of feel like I wish I did, to be honest, because it's very useful to have someone tell you... That's not true. I don't know a director like Liz Bender, but I know I have women in the industry who Liz Bender me, and they tell me things I don't want to hear, which is very, very useful, especially when you're a young actress and you think... It's not that you think you know everything, but you can become very overwhelmed. So... Yeah, I work with really lovely directors who are very kind to their actors, and so she's not based on anyone. I think she's a kind of like combination, though, of the frustration I have perhaps like pent up in me as an actor working in Hollywood for many years. It never made it into the film, but there are some versions of me calling cut where like all my rage is just like expanded out of my body. They went with a much milder, I think maybe an ADR version, actually.
Oh, really?
I think they were like, we need to pull that back.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And Kevin, how about yourself? I mean, also like as an icon of the 80s, what was it like to be part of a film that was sort of set in that time period? Did that inform this character that you were playing and how you were thinking about him?
I mean, well, first off, in terms of informing the character, you know, the process has been sort of the same for me for a while, which is to start to talk to the director about his ideas for him, and then, you know, start thinking about backstory, do whatever kind of, ride along situations I can figure out, and then start thinking about the external pieces of it in terms of voice and the clothes and the hair and makeup, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the '80s piece of it is pretty weird because I was there on this street, driving around and making movies and going onto the back lot and experiencing all that firsthand, not just as an observer, but but in the actual movies that were being made. Like I could have been in The Puritan, is basically what I'm saying, and so it was fun. I mean, I found that really fun, and I'm not someone that tends to look backwards too often. I don't have much of a rear view mirror when it comes to life, but this has sort of forced me into a more kind of nostalgic point of view.
And for both of you, Maxine and Pearl have become such icons for so many young people, especially women. And I'm curious, why do you think so many people have fallen in love with, these two anti-heroes?
Oh God, because she's such a relief, honestly. Like, she's so refreshing. I think women in horror, I can say I've had many experiences where, so I particularly remember this in the 90s when I would be watching things as like a younger person, or the 2000s, where I'd be sat at these like slumber parties with all my friends, and you spend the whole movie going, "Don't go! Why are you going up the thing? Don't get in the car! Don't!" And you kind of like these women in this genre, and I have no doubt for these actresses. They were like, so yeah, why am I going up to the thing? Because the guy is clearly, and they still had to do it. So as a character, she is doing, it's extremely satisfying to watch a woman use her intelligence to survive, not the other way around. And that sounds really basic, but I think that's kind of what it is. I mean, a few journalists today have sort of said she's an anti-hero, but I don't really think she's an anti-hero. I think she's just a really great heroine in this trilogy. And yeah, she's just very refreshing. I really like that character. I'd want to be her friend in 1985. Yeah.
And just very quickly, curious if you have like a specific, scene that was like super, super fun to film, that you just look back on really fondly, especially because this is a movie about making movies.
I liked chasing Mia through the back lot. I thought that was just super fun. I mean, it's one of those scenes where, we don't have any lines, just running. I mean, we had some lines at the end, but just there was something so great about that, and I've spent so much time on that lot and going down those streets, but to actually be using them in that kind of way was just very fun in a meta kind of way.
I love the scene where we actually kind of built like a set that Lily was on, and we were trying to shoot the flashback of the Puritan, and all the blood goes on the face. That was really fun for me, being at that sort of old monitor and the incompetent producers, and that was really great. I liked working with those two women. Like, to have the three of us in the same scene was really lovely.
Yeah.